Have you ever sat in a meeting and watched someone who clearly knows very little about the topic bulldoze through an argument with absolute certainty? Or scrolled past a social post where a newly minted interest suddenly turns into unwavering expertise? This is not just annoying. It's a predictable quirk of the human mind called the Dunning-Kruger Effect, and it shapes everything from internet debates to political blunders and boardroom disasters. Imagine the moment you first try something new, cooking a complicated dish, learning a language, or tinkering with car engines. The first step often brings a rush of confidence. You have read a couple of articles, watched a few videos, and suddenly the problem seems simple. This initial confidence spike is the core of the Dunning-Kruger effect. People with limited knowledge or experience systematically overestimate their competence because they lack the metacognitive tools to accurately assess their own skill. This phenomenon was named after psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger, who published a landmark study in 1999. They ran tests on basic logic, grammar, and humor, then asked participants to rate their performance. Those who scored lowest were the most likely to rate themselves as above average. Why? Because accurate self-assessment depends on the very skills required to succeed. If you can't recognize your mistakes, you can't measure how far you are from mastery. The effect shows up everywhere, often with entertaining and sometimes disastrous consequences. Consider the historical blunders that read like caricatures of overconfidence. Early in the 20th century, some businesses dismissed the automobile as a novelty. Executives who had never driven or understood mechanical systems confidently predicted cars would never replace horses. Their limited experience blinded them to how quickly technology and infrastructure would evolve. Closer to home, amateur investors who know the basics of a market trend sometimes make bold bets, convinced they understand timing, until a crash humbles them. The internet supercharges this effect. Social media encourages quick takes and short attention spans. A person reads a single thread, then broadcasts a definitive opinion to hundreds or thousands of followers. The feedback loop is immediate. Likes, shares, and upvotes reward certainty more than measured nuance. Confident-sounding claims are persuasive, even when wrong, because listeners often confuse confidence with competence. Cognitively, several forces combine to produce this illusion of expertise. First, the curse of knowledge. Once you learn a little, it becomes hard to imagine not knowing it, so you overestimate how much others, and yourself, understand. Second, confirmation bias nudges you toward information that validates your initial impression and away from evidence that contradicts it. Third, people are motivated to appear competent. Admitting ignorance feels risky in social and professional settings, so many choose the shelter of confident assertion. So how do you spot this trap in yourself? Start with humility as a habit. When you feel an urge to make a bold claim, pause and ask 3 questions. What evidence do I have? What do I not know? Who might disagree, and why? Seek disconfirming information deliberately. Get feedback from people who know more and treat early failures as data, not identity shaming. There's also an upside to the Dunning-Kruger effect. That initial confidence can be a powerful motivator. It gets people to try new things they might otherwise avoid. The challenge is to let that confidence evolve into cautious competence, to trade bluster for curiosity and continuous learning. The Dunning-Kruger effect is not a moral judgment, it's a cognitive pattern. Recognizing it in others can help you be more skeptical of loud certainty. Recognizing it in yourself can make you wiser. The next time you feel certain about something you barely understand, take a breath. Confidence can open doors, but accurate insight keeps you on the right path.